What's up guys, Travis here from Outdoors with Travis, and today we're doing the battle of the 33's. Before we get into our scoring system of how we're going to put these bows up against each other, let's introduce the competitors. We have the Hoyt Alpha X 33 axle to axle, we have the PSE Evolve DS 33 axle to axle, and we have the Elite Ethos 33 axle to axle. With all three of these bows being flagship in their class, and all of them being 33 axle to axle, we're going to be judging them on the following things: first impressions, shooting experience, tunability, and speed with 4 different arrow weights. First category of this competition is first impressions. And what first impressions is for me is when I pick up the bow, the overall weight. What am I feeling when I pick it up? I will also go over manufacturer spec weight as well. And then build quality. What does it feel like in my hand, down to its finishes, even its paint? What does it feel like? First impressions picking up that bow. Starting with the Alpha X from Hoyt. From manufacturer, it's a 4.75 pound bow. I can tell you right now from experience doing a survival hunt with its smaller brother, the Alpha X30, the finishes on these bows are very hardy. I managed to go through rocks, stick, brush, mini forests, and I managed to bring that bow back with absolutely no scratches on it, and I really did manhandle it. So I can tell you from experience the finishes on these bows are extremely rugged and of high quality. Moving over to PSE's Evolve DS 33, I can tell you from experience shooting the Evo 32, it's the same finish in terms of the paint on the bow, and I've had that bow for almost 2.5 years, and I've done almost all my survival videos and hunt videos with that bow, and it is still doing fantastic. So I can speak from experience that the quality of the finishes on these bows is brilliant, as well as build quality. Talking about the weight, it's a 4.6 pound bow spec from manufacturer. Then we got the Elite Ethos, and I can tell you right now, just picking it up before I even checked the specs online, this is by far the lightest bow out of these three. And when I checked the specs online, they even confirmed that this bow is coming in at 4.5 pounds bare bow, which is about 0.2 pounds lighter than the Alpha X and 0.1 pounds lighter than the Evolve DS. Judging from what it feels like in the hand and just from the naked eye, the finishes and build quality on this bow are absolutely premium, just like you'd expect from any kind of flagship bow in these classes. But I have no background in shooting these to kind of tell you about my experiences about them. But I am looking forward to spending time with this. Got a feeling that I'm going to really like this bow, maybe even over these two, but we're going to give it a go and put it through its paces. Right, my scoring system is out of 5. So looking at the Alpha X, obviously it has a little room to improve on the weight compared to the Ethos, but overall build quality is fantastic. But I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 simply because the Ethos, I think, deserves a 5 out of 5 because of that significant weight reduction compared to the other two. And then Evolve, similar class to the Alpha X, I'm going to give a 4 as well. Like I say, if you guys have to come into the shop and feel this bow and you pick up all three, the Ethos is significantly lighter. Starting with the Hoyt Alpha X, we're going to be looking at 3 things in shooting experience. 1, the draw cycle or how it feels when I pull the bow back. 2, overall vibration. And 3, overall shot experience or feel. I think we need a minimum of 6 arrows to actually give some kind of opinion. Very nice and smooth. And no vibration. Moving over to the PSE Evolve DS. I'm quite excited about this one because I've been shooting PSE for 3 years now, from the Evo NXT to the Evo Evil, and Evo Evil I've had for almost 2 years now. So I'm really excited to see engineering, feel differences, because it's probably the bow that I've had the most experience with. Super smooth as well. From experiences, what I really like is that they don't have that beefy, rubbery grip that they used to have on their older models. This feels a bit more plasticky, and I feel like I don't torque the bow as much, whereas I normally would have to take the grip off. But I must say, that feels lovely. Something I haven't commented on yet is vibration, which again, what you would expect from a flagship bow at this price range, also dead in the hand. Moving over to the Elite Ethos, I'm really excited about this because I've never shot an Elite ever. So it's going to be a first time experience all round. Dead in the hand. So I'm getting judged about this in the shop because apparently the Ethos is known as the butter bow, smoothest draw and no vibration. But what I found is this massive wall to come over when I'm drawing back, and it was quite tiring for me compared to the Alpha X and the Evolve DS, which I felt was vibration was almost non-existent and the draw cycle was amazing. So I'm going to give a 5, a 4, and a 5. Scores are even at this point, so let's see what tunability does to that. Tunability, this is an exciting one, guys, and it affects a lot of people. Starting with the Alpha X, your tuning options are as follows. Get your rest on, do as much work on the rest as possible. If you still can't get a center shot, you would then have to put this bow in a press and you'd have to do some spacers on the axles to get it to tune right. There's no yokes. Moving over to the PSE Evolve DS, we have yoke tuning as an option, as well as spacers on the axle after you've done as much as you can on the rest itself. So the Alpha X, once you've done as much with the rest as possible, you would have to get it into a bow press to do the spacers on the axle. With the PSE, once you've done as much as you can with the rest, you can do some yoke tuning. After the yoke tuning, as you've done as much as you can on the yoke tuning, you can put it in the bow press to do spacers on the axle to get your center shot. This is where the magic happens on the Elite Ethos. You don't need a bow press to tune this bow at all. All you need to do is slap the rest on, get it sent to the bow, and you can get all your tuning done through the limb pockets with their set technology. Simplified, exact tuning. Which leaves us with an obvious winner for this category, the Elite Ethos. And I must just mention before we give the score that their draw lengths are very, very similar. But what comes down to the tunability is the fact that the Ethos does not need a bow press to tune it. So we are going to give the Alpha X a 4, and Ethos, actually I want to change that up. The Alpha X can't yoke tune. It can only do spacers in the axle once you've done everything you can with the rest. So I'm going to give the Alpha X a 3 on the tunability, the Ethos a 5, and obviously the PSE has yoke tuning and then the axle, so we'll give that a 4. Starting on the Alpha X with a 406 grain arrow, let's get some readings. (280 feet per second). Staying with the Alpha X, we're now going to do a 441 grain arrow, which is getting up into that hunting class arrow now. Let's see what kind of speeds we get. (266 feet per second on a 441 grain arrow. Now a 505 grain arrow on the Alpha X. Let's see what we get. 245 feet per second on a 505 grain arrow. Finally, a 572 grain arrow out of the Alpha X. (234 feet per second). Moving over to the PSE Evolve DS, we are going to start with that 406 grain arrow and see what kind of speeds we get. (278 feet per second). Moving over to the 441 grain arrow out of the PSE Evolve DS. 265 feet per second. And now for a 505 grain arrow out of the Evolve DS. (249 feet per second). And finally, the 572 grain arrow out of the Evolve DS. This is my hunting arrow, my everyday hunting arrow. (234 feet per second). And now moving over to the Elite Ethos, we are running the 406 grain arrow. (284 feet per second). Moving over to the 441 grain arrow on the Elite Ethos. (276 feet per second). Moving over to the 505 grain arrow on the Elite Ethos. (258 feet per second). And last but not least, the 572 grain arrow at the Elite Ethos. (243 feet per second). We have a clear winner on that speed test. That Elite Ethos absolutely dominated. And we're getting to the point now where we're going to have a winner from this battle of the 33s. So we're going to give a 5 out of 5 to the Elite for speed, as it came in #1 overall. Coming in second for the speed test is going to be the Hoyt Alpha X. We're going to give him a 4. And coming in third for the speed test is the Evolve DS. We'll give that a 3. When I started this bow battle, I never thought that this would be the results, but let's tally this up. On the Alpha X, we have a total of 16 points. On the Elite, we have a total of 19 points. And on the Evolve PSE DS, or Evolve DS PSE, we have a tie for second place on 16 points. When I started this video, I never would have thought that this was going to be the result. I had super, super high hopes for that Alpha X. But what's strange is, even though the Elite has won the bow battle, if I had to choose a bow to actually buy and hunt with, it's a bit more of an emotional choice for me. But the Alpha X, I just had such an amazing time on that survival hunt that you'll see linked to the end of this video. And then when it comes to PSE, I've had a journey with their bows for the last 3 years. So I honestly would have thought I would be choosing between the Alpha X and PSE. But when it comes to tallying up the battle of the 33s, Elite Ethos has come out on top. It's really important, guys, to not just take my word for it. Get down to your local pro shop, try out these bows, and choose the one that works for you. First impressions and shooting experience is a bit more of an emotional response. And even when I was talking to guys, they were saying, no, but for me, the draw was fantastic. So you really should get down to your pro shop and try these bows out for yourself. But as for the way we scored for the Battle of the 33s, well done to Elite Ethos. We'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, all these videos are made possible by Magnum Archery. Peace.